Rock!
Hey everybody, Loud and Dave here. I just wanted to do a real quick video. As many of you know, you may have seen the video. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. I got a pair of CD Crossfire SRS2 boots for Christmas. What's cool about these boots is they have a replaceable sole system. They have a few different options. This is just the standard motorcycle sole. They have an Enduro sole, looks kind of like a hiking boot sole. They have an Amex sole that looks kind of like a motocross boot sole. Actually looks just like a motocross boot sole. And they have a Supermoto sole, which looks like, I've done one of the boots so I can show you the finished product here. It looks like this. And it comes in red or yellow. The difference between the red and yellow is just the compound. One is harder than the other, so one slides a little easier, one slides a little less easy. They don't publish the specs on which sole is harder or softer, which is kind of stupid, and I'll get to that in a second. They tell you that you need to have both sets of soles and go out and test them on whatever track you're on that day, because you know, a different compound will be better for some tracks on some different days. And the reason that's stupid is that it's just like tires. And they say, you know, it's just like tires, a different tire for different conditions on the same or different track. Well, here's why that's stupid. You know what tires are harder and softer, so you have a good baseline to start with. So you have no baseline with these soles. It's stupid. I would just as soon have two pairs of these boots before I would switch these soles at new now, because it's easy, but it's kind of a pain in the dick. Not too bad. So yeah, so this is what it looks like on. Now, as you'll notice, I'm going to show you on this one because you can see the fasteners better. They're just little screws, little Phillips head screws. They have like a T-bar on the inside of them. That makes it so you can just quarter turn, it pops out. If you've ever seen those quarter turn fasteners that hold panels on race cars and such, it's kind of similar. So here is one of the boots I haven't done it on yet. Now I have gone ahead and broken loose most of these just in, you know, for the sake of saving the time on the video. So it will take you a little bit longer to do it when you do it, but you'll see it's not very difficult. So what I do is I just take the boot, I stick it between my legs, Phillips screwdriver, just a regular, I think it's a number 2 Phillips, not Phillips, what am I, stupid? It's a straight blade screwdriver, I think it's a number 2. And then you just put it on the fasteners and you turn them. And I found they turn easier counterclockwise. When you look at them, it doesn't look like it should matter if you turn counterclockwise or clockwise, but it apparently does because they turn a lot easier counterclockwise. So there you go. I've undone the fasteners. And like I said, there are about, I only had 4 of them done up there. I think there are about 10 or 12 on each boot. And then I just take a screwdriver, stick it into the sole, and I give it a little pry up and it comes right off. There's no adhesive or anything, although it seems like City may have put like a tiny drop of shoe goo on like one of the front ones and one of the rear ones, just because there was a little bit of stick like that. It wasn't bad, it came right off. When you order them, make sure these are sized to the boot. The ones I ordered were for size 42 to 44, so basically for size 9.5 to 10 in US sizing. If you're in Europe, you know what a 42 to 44 is anyway. If you're familiar with buying motocross boots, you're probably familiar with that too. Same with hiking boots. Anyway, so yeah, sole's off. Now, how do you get this sole? This is how they come, by the way. They come in a bag like this, and they have little instructions, but honestly, if you need the instructions, you're probably too dumb to be riding a motorcycle anyway. So you take your sole, set the boot to the side for now. Now, the thing about these is the holes for the fasteners are not punched all the way through. There's a little bit of rubber molding still over the end. This is where I think, there were a lot of reviews with people complaining, saying, oh, they were, you know, it's a fucking nightmare to install. I got to think, if you're having such extreme difficulty installing these that you have to write a review saying what a horrible product it is, again, with the you're probably too dumb to be riding a motorcycle, it's really not difficult. I think what's happening is people are putting this on the boot and trying to shove the fastener through the rubber and into the boot at the same time, and that's just never going to work. You need to get the fastener through the sole so that the fasteners are all through and sticking out like that before you can put the sole on the boot. Otherwise, well, you're going to rage because it's going to take forever and it's going to suck. So what I did was I took my screwdriver, and I was sitting on a hard chair when I did this last time, so I'll just put this sole under me right now for the moment. I take the screwdriver, I sit it on a hard surface between my legs. I take the blade of it, I line it up with the slot, and I just push it through. As you can see, that was not terribly difficult. You line it up with another one, and you push it through. And you just do that for all of them, which I'm going to do right now. I might fast forward to this part or just cut it out altogether. It's not, you know, it's not the most difficult thing. Actually, just heard my phone go off text. That's probably AK-47. We're supposed to go riding today. I'm trying to get ready to go ride with you, dude. I'm just popping these through. I got one more. Okay, now all those holes are punched through, so the fastener is going to go through a lot easier. Now here comes the part that does kind of suck. It's getting the fasteners out of the old sole. Again, I'm going to put this between my legs so I have something hard to push down on. Something hard between my legs to push down on. I'm going to put the screwdriver on the hard surface, try to line the screwdriver up with the fastener, and just try to push it through. And this is definitely the biggest pain in the butt part of the whole process, because they don't want to pop out. And they just pop out like that. Now the front ones, so all the regular ones, this little fastener here that has the little bar on the end. The front ones have like a little, almost like a lock washer that kind of digs into the boot, which is strange because it doesn't actually have anything that retains the, stops the thing from turning. So I'm not really sure what the point of that is. I think it might be to help prevent it from ripping through if you really snag the front of the boot on something. So let's just continue down the line here. And be careful not to lose any of them, otherwise you're going to be sitting there with your boots apart for a week waiting for the parts to come. And these are Italian boots, real Italian boots, meaning the parts come from Italy. There's only one. There are a couple places you can buy these boots in the United States, but there's only one actual importer of City boots. So if they don't have the part, then whatever your favorite store is that also sells City stuff, they're at the mercy of waiting for that other supplier to get the stuff. So it could be, a buddy of mine got a pair of these boots, and somehow the day he got them, he lost one of the buckles, and he lost one of these strap buckles right here, and it took 2.5 weeks for another strap buckle to come as a replacement. So, don't lose the fasteners is the moral of the story. And like I said, if you're smart and you got the extra, I think it's only like 20 bucks, buy all the fasteners so you don't have to take them out of your old soles. That'll also make swapping back and forth a lot easier. So as you can see, these just pop out. All right, that's all the fasteners out of the old sole. Let's put them in the new one. New one, it's the opposite. You just stick it in there, line the little bar up with the slot, and push it through. Now I found that if you wiggle the thing a little bit, it can help it go through. Now when you're pushing them through, you'll notice that the holes, it punched, but it didn't punch the entire length of the slot. So these little bars will want to hang up on that. Just give the fastener a twist and it'll snap that rubber that it's hanging up on. See, I don't know if you can see how it's kind of hung up on there like that. If you just take this and you give it a twist, it breaks that stretched rubber and it's good to go. And if you don't start at the front, you might want to take the frontmost ones. They are the ones that have those little kind of tooth lock washers on them. Toothed? And just stick them to the side. There should be 5 of them, and they're the frontmost 5. Frontmost 5. Sounds like a 80s science fiction, like crime fighting team show. So you can see this is kind of a pain, but it's not too bad. It really isn't. No, I went through it. Oh, nice. When you're putting these in, you'll want to make sure that they're lined up straight front to back, because that's how they go into the boot. It's actually hard work. I'm starting to sweat a good bit. Now, when you're pushing on screwdrivers hard like that, you might want to make sure your hand isn't right behind it like this. So if the screwdriver slips, you're going to end up with the screwdriver like, you'll be like pushing, and the screwdriver's through your hand. So now I'm at the 5 that have the little toothed kind of lock washer thing. Goes in the top 5, the very front of the boat. I'm Canadian. There you go. That's to all my Canadian subs out there. It goes in the front of the boot. A boot. Actually does go in the front of the boot. Let's see here. So it's the last couple. Okay, so now all the fasteners are in. Now we're just going to look at it, make sure, like I said, you're going to make sure they're all front to back. Like this one's a little crooked. You can tell it 2 ways. If you look at the bottom here, all the slots should be lined up the same way. If you look at it from the bottom, the top of the bottom, the inner bottom. Anyway, make sure they're facing like that. So then take your boot, like this, no sole. It's a Ginger. Yeah, this boot is a Ginger. It's got no sole. So then you're going to line it up, kind of feel and make sure everything's cool. Everything seems to be cool. And you kind of, on the last boot, I started at the front and worked my way back. You're just going to put this in, give it a turn. Now, as I said, when I was taking them out, I was going counterclockwise. When I'm putting them in, I'm going clockwise. And looking at the diagram on the bottom of the boot, that is actually the way it shows you going. Again, looking at it, I can't see why it would matter, because I don't see anything that indicates that it would have more or less resistance going either way, but you know, if it works easier that way and they tell you to go that way, there's probably a reason for it. So then you just push them down. And like I said, give it a good push to make sure it's actually in the hole in the boot. And then just give it a twist. Helps if you use your chin like I am here. Basically, the thing is you need to make sure everything's lined up and cool. And as you're going, you might want to make sure everything's cool and lined up right. You know, just so you don't get to the very end and then something's all jacked up. And you're like, no, if I would have looked at it, I'd have known. Now, these front ones, I don't know if you can actually see it. Yeah, you can see it. These front ones were kind of a pain on the other boot when I did it. So I'm kind of actually put this down between my legs so I can push on the boot against the floor. There we go. And there you go. That's it. That's the sole on the boot. Now this video, like I said, I'm probably going to cut out part of the middle when I was popping these all through and taking it out. But this, right now, I'm coming on 18 minutes and 12 seconds. And that includes maybe a minute or two looking for a lost fastener, crawling around the floor cursing. And that was for one boot. So figure half hour, 45 minutes at worst. If you're really new with a screwdriver, you're not real familiar with hand tools, hour, swap your soles out. That might sound like a pain, but you're not going to be doing this every day. If you're doing it every day, then you're probably a racer and you're probably sponsored, so buy your boots cheaper. I don't know what to tell you. If you had to do these all the time, it would suck, but you know, once or twice a season wouldn't be a big deal. I ride street, so I mean, these soles will probably last me a long, long time. But that's it. That's how to put your Supermoto soles, or actually it would just be any kind of sole swap on the CD Crossfire 2 SRS boots. Now I got to get ready to go ride with AK, so I will talk to everybody later. See ya.